All right, here we go, up and running. It's not evening, Dave, it's morning, Dave. Okay. As you can see, we're on the last. We're going to finish it off. Just so you know what the plan is here this morning, it's a bit of a... We've got 60 owls in here, and they've been done to the point of the background twice, the sepia tone, and the key block. Key block meaning, whatever, the dark. So that means I have a small problem. I've got two impressions left to do. One is the darker brown on the owl body, and then one is the light green leaves in the background. And there's only 60 sheets, so this is only like 20 minutes or 25 minutes work. And yet I'm here for an hour and a half, so we may cut this early. But what I've also got to do is these have to be shipped to Omi today, so I'm going to dry these today. So I'm going to do one color here, second color, then I'll turn around and go out into the workshop here and I'll dry them. So I'll turn the camera around or something and do that. Anyway, let's get going. So what we'll see today is one impression, two impressions, then I'll dry the prints, I'll put them in the drying boards, which I guess is something we've never seen before, so whatever. Let's do this thing. This is all exactly where I left it last night, 8 hours ago, 7.5 hours ago. No, 8.5 hours ago. Let's add some redder stuff, I think, here. It's supposed to be red. I should also get the block warmed up. All right, pigment, paste, brush. Too dark, maybe. Okay, get some prints ready. 60 sheets in batches, like 15, 15, 15. I think somewhere around there. I didn't count exactly. The girls got this ready for me. Still, it's a brand new skin here. It's not smooth yet, so it's troublesome. I've got to use this thing. Looking good, looking good. We darkened the tone. The girls had been telling me when they saw this 2 days ago. When I started, they were saying, Dave, haven't you slipped? You're making the background a bit too light. And when I compared it with the one that I had from a couple of weeks ago, yeah, I had gradually letting this slip. So this time I deepened up the pigment a bit, made the background a little bit darker. I've been a bit careless. I haven't kept a sample by the bench here because this is such a quote easy unquote print. You know, with stuff like Jed's work, we keep a sample always right by the side of the bench, so there's always a model for them to watch. But with a smaller print like this, I haven't been so careful. But once we're out of the Christmas rush and I start passing this out to the other staff for the printing, I'll have to decide on which is going to be the model and then have them stick to it. Different brushes for different pigments. Yes, we don't mix brushes at all. I don't know. Actually, it depends on the printer. Most printers have brushes for different pigments. You know, you can see what I've done here. We've got one that we've got labeled as brown. The girls have got these. Some of them are labeled in Japanese, black. So we keep, I don't know, brushes in groups. This brown, it could be used for a dark red or, you know, something like that. So it'll be used for nearby colors, but it'll be never used for anything that's, I don't know, you know, pink or whatever. You know. But we wash them every night, of course, or at the end of every session. But having said that, there's one printer I know, Namabi-san. He's the printer who's doing the Yoshida family prints these days. His policy is he keeps his brushes unlabeled, unnumbered. He keeps large brushes, medium brushes, soft ones, hard ones, long hair, short hair. He doesn't care about color. And at the end of every session, he washes to the point where no color runs out anymore. So he will use a brush for different colors. And I think, from my point of view, that's a lot of wear and tear on the brush, washing it totally wet, totally dry, totally wet, totally dry. But that's his policy. And his brushes seem to be okay, you know, so there are different ways to do this. I know we don't have the salad spinner yet. It's you guys are like something. You guys out there watching as a collective or a group that never forgets anything. Whatever I might have mentioned sometime months ago, still comes back to haunt me. This is good, I guess. It's a feature, not a bug. But anything I say. Yeah, welcome to the internet, eh? So it's a feature, eh? Not a bug. I get it. focus working okay today? I don't know. Oh, the next print's interesting. Just a sec here. I've put a little dot on the back of it. It's not this one, the next one. Hang on a sec. When I was going through printing the key block, was that, yeah, last night's session there. I was chatting with the people on this session as usual, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, a bit careless. I put the print in the registration marks, looked up to do something, grabbed my tool and started printing, and it slipped. The paper slipped on the you know, grab a bit. The paper slipped out and I didn't quite catch it before my bearing hit. So the paper's already out. I've already started printing, so whatever. So I finished it. And it was just like a millimeter, whatever, a millimeter twisted, something like this. So that print is now a dead print, perhaps. But because this design is so loose, there's no, careful kimono lines and all that sort of stuff. I thought I might get away with it. So what I did was, as soon as I pulled it off the block, I put a mark on the back corner. I just put a mark on the corner. So when I pull it out, I know. So this one now, I can remember it's got to be down about that far, twisted about that far, in about that far. And I'm going to see if I can actually get to the end by twisting it the same way. It's possible I won't, I don't know. But rather than throw it away. So all the subsequent colors after that black, the sepia last night, and now this one, I put it in where I think the registration mark might be. And as I said, because the print is so loose, because the registration doesn't really matter on this one, we might be able to get away with this. Even though I totally screwed up. Too busy talking to people on the stream. Yeah, when you get your owl, if you bought one of these from the future, look on the back for that little dot in the corner. As featured on a Twitch live stream in 2017. You've only seen me print blue. Yeah, I guess so. People in Europe last night, because I'm running out of time on this, I did another stream last night. I did the blue in my morning session yesterday, was it? So in the evening session, I put on the black and the sepia. So you can get to the end now. What we're doing right now, I'm going to print the brown here. This will take me another 10 minutes or so. Then after that, I will switch to the green block, which will take me only another 10 or 15 minutes or so. There's only 60 copies here. And that'll be the print will be finished. Maybe for some of you, that's the first time you've seen me finish it. And then for the rest of the time that's sitting here this morning, I'm going to turn the camera around while I dry the prints. I'm going to spread the prints on the floor. It's a really dry, crisp autumn day here. There's a bunch of different ways to dry prints, but if you just leave them out to dry, they will curl and they won't be nice and flat. But if you take a wet print and stick it in the drying boards, it doesn't get totally dry. Of course, the water has nowhere to go, so it just transfers partly into the drying boards, partly stays in the print. And you've got to do things like flip them over to a different board, then take them out and flip them over to a different board and keep going. And the boards themselves start to get warped and twisted because of the water they're picking up. So after you've used them 3 or 4 times, they are no longer flat anymore, and you're back to trouble. So what I like to do, because we've got an empty space here, is I like to put the prints out on the floor for a while, let them lose about, what's a number here? I don't know, 80% of their moisture, just make up a number. Lose a lot of the moisture and try and catch it just to the point where they're going to start to get crispy and curled up. And at that point, put them under the heavy drying boards. And then they dry perfectly, beautifully flat, and the drying boards themselves also stay flat. But if you wait too long, they get crisp, curly. Anyway, we'll see that later this morning here, after I finish the printing. First step, get the prints made. That's the first batch of 15. Second batch, here we are, before the brown. Twitch partnership, nay, conclusions, whatever. Just I put the point out there on the fan page last night for some discussion. And as far as the reaction, people seem to be both ways. Is half the people are saying, yeah, do this, and half the people are saying, not so interesting, I'm not sure if I have anything to add about my other previous thoughts. I want to avoid any semblance of David asking for money here, And the partnership thing seems to really all about trying to get money from people, So I don't know. I think that from Twitch's point of view, it was a request. You are now eligible, so please click here if you want to do it. I don't think it was a demand from them. And if I don't do it, what will they do? You know, I don't know. Am I freeloading on Twitch if I don't do that? I'm not quite sure. They're giving me a huge benefit, giving you guys a huge benefit, but they don't have much of a revenue stream from this, I guess. So I don't know. Oops, we've got a big blob there. Definitely not free. But how do they get? What's their revenue from the ads they play? Is that it? Perhaps it's similar to the YouTube thing. I know a guy from Google was here a while ago, not to visit me officially from Google, but somebody doing a print party. Worked for them in Mountain View, in the video department or whatever, and or he knew about it. So, and he was telling me about how the video thing works on YouTube. You know, I don't run ads on any of my YouTube videos, so I was sort of thinking I'm sort of quote unquote freeloading. I get huge benefit from it. My fans get benefit from the videos, but if I don't run ads, what's in it for YouTube? You know, they're sort of giving me this huge service and getting nothing in return. And he said, "You got to be kidding! You're not me personally, but my type of video is exactly what they want." You know, he said it doesn't matter if they don't get ad revenue from your videos. They've got people staying on the platform, which is what they want. You know, as long as people are on the platform, enjoying themselves and looking for more stuff and staying on YouTube, that's what Google wants. So maybe it's the same on Twitch. Even if my stream doesn't have a giant amount of revenue pouring through it, it's eyeballs, I guess, and I guess that's what all these internet companies want. It's just as many eyeballs as possible. I guess. I don't know. So for the moment, then, I'm just going to keep things going as they are. And, it's always free for everybody. I'm not asking for money. Looking good. I'm getting to like this deep one, you know. I can't go back and change the other ones I did last week, but I like this deep one. Also, I guess from the numbers involved, from Twitch's point of view, this is just trivial. I mean, what's the deal? Some of those channels are like getting 10, 15, 20, 50,000 people watching somebody play games, you know. So what have we got here? 100, 200 a day. You know, I think it's from Twitch's point of view, I guess it's just background noise. I don't know. Bud Light, beer of choice of Japanese printmaking. When's the last time I had a Bud? Probably 40 years ago, I don't know. alcohol sponsorship. I had a chance for that. I blew my big chance. I blew a chance and almost lost a good friend. And when I was making the Poets series, this is like back in the middle of the 1990s, I was getting pretty good publicity from it here in Japan. And as it came close to the end of the series, I got lots and lots of publicity. I mean, all the newspapers, all the TV news channels, whatever, covered the end of the Poets series. This would have been in 1999, January 1998. No, January 1999. Okay, sorry, excuse me. And there was lots of good publicity. I wasn't famous, but there was, I was on news programs and stuff like that all the time. And I used to do there was no internet, big business for me there. Selling the prints was done through a gallery. I rented a gallery space and had an exhibition once a year. There wasn't internet, but I mean, the business was mostly personally based in a gallery. And the guy who ran the gallery was quite a famous guy in the Japanese art scene. His name was Amano-san. He's long dead now. He was in his 80s at that time. He's long dead. Really, really, really nice guy. And he knew everybody in the art world and the media world and you name it, because his gallery had been really quite a big place for stuff to happen. I'd been really lucky to be able to use it for 1 week a year to run my own stuff. So we're coming up to the last exhibition, the big exhibition of 100 prints, and he phones me one day, say, okay, I've teed up with you for, and actually I forget the guy's name. He said for such and such, Mr. let's just say Suzuki, whatever, for such and such Suzuki to come and see you one of the days during the show. And he paused expectantly while I was supposed to recognize what this was. And I hadn't recognized the name. So he realized, okay, I didn't know this. So he explained. This is one of the most famous people in Japan. He's got a little tiny box on the front page of it would have been maybe the Yomiuri newspaper. Japanese newspapers are pretty full and splashed with all kinds of different stuff. And this guy it was one of the whiskey companies. It was maybe Suntory or something, who has whiskey brands. And they had hired many, many years ago this Suzuki guy to be their pitchman. And he had become totally famous in this country because of this little one box on the newspaper every morning or every evening, whenever it was. And his little face was there and his guest was there. And here we are enjoying Suntory whiskey. And it was sort of name dropping and whatever, but it just kept Suntory whiskey in front of everybody's face every day. And this guy was famous for this. So Amano-san was phoning me to say, that's it, you're teed up. You are going to be next Thursday's Suzuki-san's guest. You're going to be on the front page of your newspaper, get your little cup, get a little drink together with Suzuki-san, and away we go. And this was a coup. He had really scored a coup for me to do this. And he was expecting me to go, oh my God, it's wonderful, thank you, this is great. And once he explained this to me, I said, well, unfortunately, I don't drink Suntory whiskey. He said, what's that got to do with it? Who knows? Just get over here. They're coming for the photo shoot during the gallery. All the people in the gallery will see this photo being taken. It's just going to go round and round and things are going to, just get over here. And Dave just said, well, I can't do that. It's not just that I don't drink this stuff. I said, I've whatever, I'm on record. And I did a series of essays with the Mainichi newspaper for their English publications, 300-word essays once a week for one of their magazines. And I had done one of these essays talking about how I didn't drink whiskey. So I told Amano-san, look, it's not just me refusing to try and not be in an ad because I don't drink whiskey, but if I go in this ad and say, luscious, wonderful, and then somebody sees this other story, isn't that going to maybe get Suzuki-san in a little bit of trouble? And he's like, well, nobody believes this stuff anyway. Anyway, long story short, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go on there, take the money for this thing on the front page of the paper, knocking back a chug of whiskey and saying, yeah, that hits the spot. I just couldn't do that. I told the story to my brother later, and my brother is a super whiskey and liquor connoisseur. He's probably listening now. I better be careful what I say, but it's nothing wrong with that. And he's just like smacking his head. I mean, give me a break, Dave. Just take the money and run. Who cares? Nobody believes those things anyway. So. But there we are. Maybe I've mentioned the word Suntory enough times in this stream now. to make up for my rejection back then. Sunday morning, it's the ladies on the community outside, the community cleanup crew every Sunday morning. They've just come out of the coffee shop. They've been cleaning and stuff. They do their radio exercises first about 6 o'clock or something. Then they do a cleanup. They get their brooms and they zap around the community. I say old ladies, it's ladies and guys, retired people. Then they've eaten the coffee shop. This is heavily promoted and heavily pushed and heavily, supported by the local government, getting old people out of their houses, getting them to talk to each other, helping keep the town clean. And some of those people are old, like they're in their 90s and stuff, and they're having a great time. And if I'm in this district long enough, at some point, they're going to be knocking on my door and saying, hey, get your broom, guy, get out here. Oh, I haven't been seeing the stream here. I'm sorry. There might be questions I didn't catch. I'm sorry. Do you upload the full streams? No, I don't. I've got them all preserved, and I'm doing a bit of highlight things now and then on YouTube. I'm sorry. That Amano-san, he helped me so much during those years, He was a real wheeler dealer, and I was very lucky to stumble onto his gallery. The gallery system in Japan is different from most countries in the world, I know. They're mostly rental galleries. Well, actually, it's been changing in the last couple of decades, but when I was here and doing my stuff back in the 90s and stuff, the galleries were rental galleries, The gallery didn't support the artists or do anything. They just rented the space. And that was what I wanted, because I was doing prints by subscriptions. I didn't want the gallery to take a cut. I didn't want the gallery to bring me their clients. I just needed the space to show my stuff. Worked very, very well. Somewhere buried on my old website, there's some really small little video, little tiny, like 240 by 160 and stuff like that, little video that we did in the 1990s. There's walking tours of each of the exhibitions I did. I took some kind of little camera, walked around the exhibition. So there's some time capsules of that stuff. It's on the website somewhere under previous exhibitions. Hasn't been touched in like 20 years. But what was the video format? 240, 280, 240 by 160 or something. HD, not. Somebody asking about the paper lining up. There's corner marks. There's corner marks. You see, there's a corner carved on the wood here. And there's a line carved on the wood. The paper right here, it's going in the corner, ready, into the corner, click, lock, left side against the line, click, lock. My thumbs have locked the paper now, down it goes. That's the registration system. Is this the last group? Fourth? What am I on? Third group? Fourth group? Don't remember. Third group, I think. Is that the end of the brown? I don't remember where I'm at. No, one more group. 15 more. Okay. Hi. To 15 more browns, then we switch to the green. Do I plan on retiring from the business side of printmaking? I'd like to do that today. We're trying to make this transition. You know, I don't want to do the bookkeeping and the running a company. You know, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to get back to my bench. I want to carve and print and carve and print and carve and print. But we're in this thing. We're riding this tiger. You know, I've started this thing, turning it into a major operation. I can't just quit. I can't just jump off. Cameron San came along. He's helping a bit, but he's not the kind of person that's going to be the leader of this place, you know. I'd kind of hoped he might be more of a leader. That hasn't happened. He's going to be a person who does different work and does interesting things, but he's not going to run the place at all. It's clear, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. thinking about the last night. I just woke up halfway through the night, thinking about that. Where are we going with this place, and how am I going to get it more stable? The good sign is that we're just growing. We're growing so fast that at some point we're big enough, that I can step out. Excuse me, if I live long enough. Excuse me. Yeah, retire and throw myself into my printmaking hobby. Not retire, just I need a workspace within 1/4 of this company here, I want to be part of this, I want to be here, but I don't want to be running the place. I've just sort of had this vague thought, well, someday one of these people, someone's going to come along who will do this stuff, and then I can get back to the benches more. But it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to make it happen. And it's really, really, really difficult. Just firefighting every day. Yesterday I had a list of stuff I was supposed to do, and I didn't get through any of it because just stuff all day long coming at me, And over the next couple of months, it's just going to explode. Just explode. January, February is supposed to be quiet months for us, but this next year, it's not going to be like that. The question is hiring somebody else. Hiring somebody then is a question of delegating work. This is what me and Cameron are going through right now. I've hired Cameron. He's still in the early stages, and I've delegated various jobs for him. Now you do this, now you can do this, now you can do this. So he is taking work from my bench, from my hands, bit by bit by bit. The problem is work sort of just explodes and expands. It's like scooping water from a bowl. You take some water out of the bowl and give it to somebody else and give it to somebody else. The water just fills up the space again, like dipping out of the sea or something, Maybe that's a good example. There's a sea of work here for me, and I took a bucket and I've been dipping it in the sea and giving it to Cameron. Hi, you could do this, you do this, you do that. But it doesn't empty the sea in any way whatsoever. It just fills back up again, And then he gets his own problem. He's just got this to do, this to do, this to do, Work just seems to expand to fill the space, You hire one more person, the work just expands to fill it up, I don't know what to do about this stuff. There's a hair on there I can catch it. Brush hair. What do we got left here on this brown? A few sheets. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 more browns, and then we switch to the green. Actually, moving along, I was thinking I was going to be running out of time. Maybe I'm not just barely in time to do this. I don't know. So I know people are asking, printers. That's the key. If I had more printers now. More printers is the key here. The people on stream are asking, how can you help us? Whatever. I know we've already asked. There's a couple of people who've been watching on the stream who are doing specific jobs for me, helping with this on the blog, helping with that. I doubt that any specific random person on this blog can come in. You've got to be able to speak Japanese and English. You've got to have residency for Japan. You've got to look for a career, take over this place, it's a giant thing. And if I kind of hope that among the people we've been hiring, there will be somebody like that. But there's kind of a paradox, the kind of person who could run a business like this doesn't need to be here, because if they're that aggressive and I know, not aggressive, what's the word? If they're that, able and competent and bang to run something, then they're going to be doing their own business. They're not going to come and work for somebody else. The kind of people you get when you hire people are the kind of people who don't have the ability to run things and drive things. So some kind of paradox in hiring a manager, you know. And Cameron's turning out to be kind of an office manager type person, managing some of the things that we've got going on, but he's not going to be a leader for the company. But the kind of person that could do that is, by definition, already leading something, you know. One of the last stages of making the owls, and probably for the first time on a stream, we're going to see the owls actually getting completed. This is the last of the brown. There's the brown done. Back to the beginning now for the last time through the stack here. And now we switch to the green. And I don't have a brush. I gotta go get a brush. Back in a second. Yoish. Okay, pigment. Again, this is where we left it last time. It's all dried out. Just dry powder, just sits in the bowl, dries out. So bring it back to life with some water. There's enough green pigment here to make probably literally more than 1 million of these owls. We're going to use just such a tiny smear of it. Millions of these owls. So we're just going to put a dab of it on the tile. Pick up from the tile. More than enough green. All right, away we go. The last color on this batch of owls. It's now nearly 9 o'clock. I'll be finished this in about whatever it is, 15 minutes, and then we'll have a go at trying to get these prints dry. I've forgotten where they are. a question I don't see. Hang on a sec. Are these the same prints you would? Yeah, these. I've got a batch here. I'm going from 1 to 60, flipping them over, going 1 to 60, flipping them over, going 1 to 60. So these are the same. This is the same sheet of paper you just saw a moment ago. This one. You saw me do the brown a minute ago on this same sheet of paper. Now I'm doing the green. The paper doesn't dry between colors. It stays moist between colors, always. The paper stays moist from beginning to end, and the ideal situation is it has the same level of moisture from beginning to end. $1,000? No. We're about, this is 350 or something. I don't know exactly. I'm sorry. Nowhere near 1,000 yet. Cookie sheet. Nay, why do I use it sometimes? I know the barn skin today is a bit too rough. This is new. It just changed. I guess yesterday morning it was changed by one of the girls. And it hasn't got supple yet. It's not soft enough yet. And the paper is a bit soft. So some of the times, if these green leaves are really such a small area, I can get away with rubbing it directly. It's not rubbing well, but it's okay because it's such a small area. When I had the blue, absolutely, I needed the smooth contact. So I'm sorry, the condition of this right now is just on the border. I need it, I don't need it, I need it, I don't need it. So sometimes I'm using it, sometimes I'm not. It's just a question of feel, just the momentary feel. Sorry to be inconsistent, but whatever. Brush is still a bit dry. They'll be trimmed later, of course. They're going to be trimmed to a uniform shape. The black bowl is, it's water, but it's a bit dirty because I dropped a drip of sumi into it last night when I was doing the key block. So it's just a bit dirty. It's water, just dirty. If I was printing a delicate pink here or something, I wouldn't be able to use that water. But because I'm printing with a really dirty green, there's tons of sumi pigment already mixed into the green. So it doesn't matter if the water's dirty or not. And of course, printing it on top of this deep blue. So Yeah, different blue. The color balance. The camera, main camera over there does not have a good color balance set for it. The built-in, the Mac thing has a better color balance. Now the room is funny. There's natural light coming in. All this light you see from my left is natural light. The room itself is lit by LEDs, and there's a little LED in front of me here. So we get a different batch of different colored lights happening. And then when the people, you know, who buy this, they receive it, they open up the envelope. What kind of light are they seeing it by? Have they got incandescents in their room? Are they seeing it naturally? Here's the print that has to be moved on the registration marks. So I think we got away with it. The registration marks were totally off, but I moved them all at the same amount. Hee hee hee, we got away with it. This blue is darker than previous prints. I did. It's quite a bit darker. I don't know, I'm not really being very consistent. I should have been more careful. You know, one of the pride of our workshop is that we make prints that are perfectly consistent, you know. And when we're doing a normal edition, you know, one of Jed's prints, whatever, we get the master sitting by the side, and we really do keep good consistency, you know. I've been a bit, what's the word, just throwing this thing around a bit too much carelessly. So some of these are darker blue, some of these are lighter blue. Remember too, you saw the originals we're coming from. There is no clear, good original as to what this should be. But as I mentioned earlier today, when it comes time now to throw this over to the staff for doing the rest of the printing, I'll have to decide which one of these is a good master. Because if I don't give them a strong copy, it'll be all over the map. So. I hear the question beep. Where's the question? Twitch questions. Sorry, just a minute. trying to remember an answer to this one. I know, not really. The question is a generic question about my overall work. You know, have I ever tried to take on something so difficult that I couldn't get through it and I had to abandon it? I won't mention the name of the person because maybe it's a self-question. Are you asking for a friend? Have you got a project you're doing now that's working out to be a little bit too difficult? I'm not sure what to say. You know, if you're doing this as a hobby, then and there's nobody waiting for the finished prints, then you're pretty much free. Of course, if you're having too much trouble with something, if you're fighting something and it's not working out because it's too difficult, then yeah, maybe put it aside. Just put it on a shelf. Don't abandon it. Just say, I think I'll leave this for a while and come back to it soon, and then try something a little bit simpler. In my own case, once I started printing as a business, I did it by subscriptions. I announced to people that there will be 10 prints next year. Put your name on the list and I'll send you 10 prints next year. Once I started that, now I'm out on the tightrope. You know, you start walking across your little personal Grand Canyon and you got to get to the other side by December. And people are waiting for these prints. And a number of times along the road, especially during that Surimono albums, I got in a bit of trouble. I had started something that was, whoops, can I really pull this off? But people are waiting. And, you know, you've committed yourself to sending these prints. And that really puts what's the word? It puts a fire behind you, you know. Then there's no more freedom to say, I think I'll cancel this and try something else. So my own personal experience is, no, I haven't ever abandoned one. The downside of that is maybe some of those prints I sent could have been better. I don't know, you know. But in your position now, don't sweat it. If you're not having fun because something's getting a bit too difficult that you've tried, just put it aside. There's no embarrassment. You don't have to apologize for anything. Just say the exact thing. This is a bit tough. I think I'll try something simpler, you know. You've been posting on the fan page there. I don't think anybody's judging any of this stuff, so. Music, nay. I used to have so much music in the background when I was working all the time, you know. It's not part of my life now. That's just on the list again. If I ever do get you know, the managing thing running here and get back to my own work, whether it's 1 day a week or 7 days a week, whatever it turns out to be, then yeah, I'll have the speakers there, of course, you know. My workshop in Ome, a big concrete room on the river there. No neighbors nearby. I drowned myself in music when I was working. The tools in a different place from where they are on my own bench. Again, this is one of the right-handed benches. All the benches here in Osaka are built for right-handed people. You know, my own bench at home is built for a lefty, and everything has its own place. And all the time I've been printing here, doing these owls or anything else I'm printing, I'm fighting my 30 years of muscle memory. The Baron is right there, the brush is right there, the paste is right there, you know. And now everything's in a different place. And really a whole working career of muscle memory. And now I'm just trying to use different systems, you know. Where are we? That's 2 groups. Where are the prints? What's left? 1, 2. Let's pull them forward. Gangster rap, yeah, right. Sorry, guys. For me, pop music, you know, I made it through the 80s and stuff into the 90s, and that's about where I got off the bus. I'm sorry, you know. What would the last pop stuff that I bought have been? For me, in the beginning, it was classical. Then it went to jazz. After I picked up saxophone, and then I don't think I have any pop in my own. You know, remember I used to buy stuff, buy records and CDs. They're all in the Ome workshop, hundreds of them in rows on the basement. I think the last active CD bang I did in the rock or pop field would have been Andy Partridge, you know, XTC, Andy Partridge. I got their last couple of CDs. What was it called? I don't know, Apple Venus or something. That might have been the last CD I bought. Before it all went, you know, through the internet and MP3s and stuff. Sax playing, Larry, what a joke stream that would be. How many years would that have been since I last played saxophone? I have two of them here. I have a Selmer Mark 6 and I have a King, not a King, a Con 3M. Come on, tenor, it's a 10M. Can't even remember the names, and it tells you how long it is. A Selmer Mark 6, used only 3 months, and a Con 10M. They're in cases here. The last time I would have played saxophone would have been, God, I don't know, 1980 or something like that. I don't know. Joke here. That Selmer sax I've got, I bought it for a gig I got back in the late 70s, middle 70s. And it's a beautiful Mark 6 saxophone. I used it for about 2 or 3 months on that gig, got fired, put the saxophone away, and it's still in its original packaging, you know. So my joke is that that's my retirement fund. Selmer Mark 6, original model, France made, not the American model. Only driven by a little old lady on Sunday afternoons, that kind of a thing, you know. So. Nice prints, they're coming out nicely. I'm quite happy. Productive work, making stuff that's going to give pleasure. And for so many years, you can't imagine where each of these things is going to go. You know, this little sheet right now, where's this one going to go? In the short term, this might be going to Australia, America, England, Japan, who knows? But then after that, remember, these things last. It's no joke. They last for hundreds of years. What will the life story of this sheet be, and the next sheet, and the next? Your head explodes. You just can't, you know. You can't think about it, you know. Displayed on a wall where people are going to see it all the time, tucked into a portfolio, brought out once every 50 years or something. Who knows? You know, where are they going? Some of these prints will leave the solar system. You mean assuming humans start doing that sort of thing, they will take their stuff with them? Like this one is going to go, whatever. I mean, the counterside to that argument is an asteroid headed this way with our number on it, and 6 years from now, boom, everything is dust. You know, which is more likely? I didn't mean to sound doubtful. I just meant to sound, I'm not sure if I would bet too much money on that, but okay, whatever. There's two aspects to it too. There's the digital image. Click, take your picture. This is going to be reproduced and stored. And then there's the physical objects. We've got both aspects here. Eh? There we go. Must be one more batch hiding under here somewhere. There they are. Okay, the final 15. Here we go. I'm almost out of time. Geez, I thought I was going to have ages of time to spare. I don't think we're going to have time to dry these right now. I'm just going to have to print them. Today's Sunday. There's a print party at 10 o'clock. A 4-people print party at 10 o'clock. Extraterrestrial subscriptions. Nah. You know, not to get maudlin about it, but actually the older I get with all this, the less I get concerned about, you know, how this stuff is going to survive and will my name survive and all that sort of stuff. It's funny, you know, because, you know, things like whatever, those YouTube videos and stuff, you could look at it two ways. They will sort of survive forever, or they won't survive at all. We've got all these kind of things like computer programs and software and video formats from just 20 or 30 or 40 years ago that we can't read anymore, you know. And today's YouTube archive, is that the way it's going to end up? That it actually ends up being lost to the future computer users? Or will those things just, the formats will transfer and the storage becomes so cheap that they will all be saved, quote, forever, unquote? I have no idea, you know. So those YouTube videos I made, what kind of legacy are they? Is it just short term, or will they like always be here? Will somebody 500 years from now be looking at this old guy in the YouTube video saying, look what they did back then in the 2017s, you know? I don't know. Can't really worry about it too much. Nothing to do with me, really, you know. Just make the stuff, put it out there, and what happens will happen, you know. Alien Print Party, it is. It's a band name, isn't it? So, although from the Japanese point of view, Alien Print Party is what happens here every day. I know, in the way you translate Japanese into English, I'm an alien here. I'm a resident alien. So Alien Print Party is what's happening here at 10 o'clock this morning. What's the ratio of Japanese to foreign people? I don't know about the actual number, but it's like 90% foreigners, of course. We're still not so known here in Japan, you know. Our business is far more well known in the outer world than it is here in Japan. That may change March the 1st next year. March the 1st, I say that as an estimated date, March 1st, April 1st, whatever. Let's say April 1st. Starting in March or April next year, our exposure to the Japanese domestic market is going to change. But as of at the present time, we're not so well known here in Japan. Yeah. We're on TV here and there, but TV just, it happens and it's gone a day later and that's it. People forget it instantly. Okay, we're coming up to the end of this thing here. What's left? 5 or 6 sheets. Yes, I am. I'm teasing. I'm sorry. Let me have fun. It's okay. I say 1st of April. You give me a break on the date, and that's spring. Let's just call it spring. And my deadline is before the spring rush overwhelms us. That's all it is, you know. We've got something here we would like to get up and running before the spring rush overwhelms us. That's about all I can say. What's this? You keep typing. Owls are fun. Is this a dig at me or a support or a owls are fun. Owls are fun. Owls are fun. Keep telling yourself, Dave. Owls are fun. All right, 2 copies left of the current batch of owls. When the next group starts, I don't know. The Ome ladies told me on Friday before they left that we were in a minus situation on the orders and shipping. That's why these have to be finished this morning, shipped to Ome this afternoon. This very batch of prints will be trimmed and packed Monday morning, and they're going to be on their way around the world Monday afternoon, Monday evening's mail. That's what kind of a deadline we're working on these days. There's about 60 in here, and hopefully there's the last one. So that will get me ahead of the game for a little bit. But even in the overnight mail last night that I haven't looked at yet, there are going to be more orders for these. So sometime, maybe it's a week from now, I'll be back here. Here we go. Have you ever seen a stack like this? Fresh baked woodblock prints. They're still wet. Next step now is going to be drying them. They're not all perfect. There's a few. The sizing was bad. That one's not so good. There's too much speckle in the background color. Bit too much on the black there. Hit a bit too hard. So they're not all perfect. Out of the 60, I'll get, I don't know, 55, something like that. Can't say. No, we're trying to, do I make how many that are ordered? We're trying to keep ahead of it. We want to put them in the shop. We still haven't put the owls in the shop. We're a publishing company. The idea is to make stuff in big batches, then bit by bit it sells. At the moment, we're struggling to do that because of the Christmas rush. But that's going to stop now. Any minute now, please, that's going to stop. Then there will be occasional orders for these owls. So we'll make a batch of 50 that might sell over the next month and get the next batch ready. Okay, there we are, just 9:20. I've got a print party at 10 o'clock. As I said, I was going to try drying these things now, but actually I don't have time to do that right now. I've got to get the print party done first. So if I spread these on the floor now, I won't have time to get them dried and put them into the drying boards before they get crinkly. Look at this. The very last copy on this whole batch is going to be one of the spoiled ones. There's a defect in the paper. There's a bit of what we call chitty. Can you see it? Is the camera going to focus? Let me try on a better camera. There's a piece of bark. Can you see it there? It's a piece of scrap bark in the paper. And it didn't show before we started to make the prints. It just turned up here at the very last one. So it goes in the defect pile. Anyway, okay, I'm talking too much. I'm rambling. I got to get going. Thanks, guys. What's the job? This is Sunday. Tomorrow's stream, Monday morning stream. I don't have a clue what I'll be doing. It won't be owls, please. It won't be owls, but I don't have a clue what I'll be doing. Tuesday will be off as normal, and I can't see the rest of the week. The recap for next week, Christmas and New Year's, for those of you who might want to know the schedule. For us, Christmas Day, 25th, is a normal day in the shop. Japan doesn't do Christmas. They do Kentucky Fried Christmas, but they don't do Christmas as a holiday. So for us, 25th is a normal day, Monday. 26th here, Tuesday, I'll be off because it's Tuesday. So for you guys, 25th, there will be no stream on the 25th, which is fine. You've got other things to do. So that works out very well. Then we're going to work through right to December 31st. Then here, January 1, 2, 3, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, no stream for 3 days in a row. I'm sorry, I want a break, and the New Year's period is the time to get that break. The shop will be closed, staff will be at home. I'm either going to sleep for 3 days in a row, or I'll find some quiet projects to catch up on. No stream 1, 2, and 3. We'll come back to a normal business January 4th. Is that it? Okay, let me go. Thanks very much, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching. Camera off. Okay, let's do this. Stop streaming. Where's the button? Thanks, guys.